Hi, and welcome to the Trading Bell. We are at East Africa's largest ladies' fashion brand, that is Vivo Fashion Group. And guess what? We're going to be speaking to the CEO and founder. That's none other than Wandia, and she's right here working on her desk. Hi, Wandia.
Morning.
It's good to see you. You ready?
Waiting for you. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
What are you doing already? Some
I'm
fashions?
Select prints for a new collection that we're coming up with. It's going to be a resort collection.
Okay.
You know, Christmas, holiday time. So here we're looking at different prints at different scales. So you can do the same print.
Yeah.
But do you like it in the very large scale, the medium, or the small scale?
Okay.
And then you sort of try to figure out how that would.
Very colorful.
Yeah, man. Ladies, we like to
So
be
it's still
colorful.
a secret yet. It's going to be released later
Yeah, it's
on.
going to be released later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready for you. Take me around.
Okay, well, this is where we do all the graphics.
Okay.
So we've invested in digital print technology, which allows us to print on our own fabric. So we can customize our own prints.
Yeah.
That can make the product a bit more unique, but also allow for creativity because you can always play with the colors. So Eric is the head of the team. They also do all the graphics for our social media, for our websites, and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm doing now. This is what's happening. So it's a sublimation print process, which means you print on paper, and then after the paper is printed, then you can transfer it onto fabric. Okay. So maybe when we come back, we'll actually see some printing happening. Okay. I think they're just warming up the transfer now.
Great.
Yeah. But this is sort of at the product development side of things. So we develop all our own products.
Okay.
Everything we offer is designed in this building.
All right.
And then we produce about 95% of it in this building. So I'm gonna take you through the whole process, and that's what ends up in stores. We are outsourcing some of our production now.
Okay.
We work with a couple of other producers, manufacturers.
Yeah.
And as we scale, we want to do more and more of that.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm your guest.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So this is one of the teams that works on designing products. So the initial design, in the beginning, when we first started the company, we were designing mostly on hand drafting on paper.
Yeah.
But now we've invested a lot in computer-aided design technology.
Okay.
So you'll see that a lot of our designs start straight on digital.
Okay.
And then there's another team that will work on grading it into different sizes and stuff like that. It's quite a technical role. There's also a sort of creative side when you're trying to sort of look at what you think it should look like and doing all the specifications. Maybe you can share a little bit.
Yeah. What's happening here?
We usually have this to guide the tailors when they're tailoring the item, because we usually don't like wasting time going there and telling them this is what to do. So we do this. This is a technical sheet. Okay. So you draw whatever the final product will look like, and then have indications of what they're going to use, the machine, the thread,
all the different finishing, stitching options. So you've got to be, it's technical, right? So you've got to be very specific because there's multiple operations.
So how many designs do you produce in certain periods? I don't know, how are they weighed, weekly or monthly?
We try to come up with about 15 to 20 new designs every week.
Every week?
Every week.
15 to 20 designs.
Those are new designs, but then we constantly have our favorites and basics that we keep ordering again and producing again based on demand. Okay. Yeah, so you'll get to see. And so then what you'll see is as they're developing samples, all of that is done in the same space. So we look at that and then we decide, is it working? Does it work in this color, this fabric? Do we need to change anything? Okay. And you go through a whole process before it gets approved. After a sample is approved, then you go through the technical design of, grading it into multiple sizes. Okay. So that's what.
So this is like the second stage now.
Yeah. So basically, what you'll see here is like a map. Yeah. And it tells everybody downstairs what to cut out and what all the different colors represent a different size. Okay. So green is?
Green is small.
And yellow?
Yellow is large, and
blue is medium.
Yeah.
So that gets printed out on a plotter. Okay. So that's the plotter, and that will guide all the cutting. Okay. Yeah.
Fresh designs.
And then you can tell, because you're doing it on digital, exactly how much fabric you've utilized, how much you've wasted.
Okay.
Because you can't use everything. Like there'll be these, this you know, you have, this is all going to be waste. So how much, what's the utilization on this one?
On this one, so far it's 84.205.
That's pretty good. Well done. We try to get to at least 80%.
Okay.
So that, you know, you're utilizing as much of the
As
fabric
much as
as possible,
possible.
so you don't waste, because
Okay.
that's part of sustainability.
You're right.
So then this,
So this was the
eventually-
second stage now.
This is the second stage when it's already approved, and
Yeah.
now you're grading it, and then you test the different sizes to make sure they work.
Yeah.
There's more product development,
Okay.
more sampling.
Still in the product
Going
development.
So this is the fabric warehouse.
Yeah.
This is where we receive and store our fabrics. And it's also the source where we now issue fabrics to the production line.
Okay.
So majorly here we do inventory management.
Okay.
So some of these are the fabrics that we print.
Ah, it'd be nice to
So-
feel it. Yeah.
This was originally just a plain color, and then we print on top of it. This was white.
Yeah.
So you're able to sort of, like I said, customize your prints and do some unique colors and styles.
All this is printed here.
All of this is, well, all of these ones. We do occasionally buy prints, but
Okay.
we try not to. We want to make it unique.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so here you can see, this gives you a nice sort of view of the cutting section. So they're laying the fabric, and then what the ladies were working on upstairs will be put on top like a map.
Okay.
And that will guide the cutting. So we'll see a bit of that happening down there,
Yeah.
you know?
You're
so
right.
as they're cutting, they're preparing the next one, then they'll prepare the next one, so that you never stop. So the cutters just keep moving from table to table,
Okay.
cutting
Okay.
the different
Okay.
pieces.
Great.
He's cutting, and this is like the back of a dress,
Okay.
half of a back of a dress. So
The
that's
way they
why-
were designed up there now.
Yeah,
This is not
exactly.
an actual curtain.
And then you'll know what size it is. So this is a small. This, you know, so it might have different sizes on the same marker.
Okay.
And then once the pieces are cut, then they get bundled. It's like a puzzle. You know how you put pieces together.
So this is where now they're patching up all those pieces
So
together.
they're putting the pieces together, ready to feed it into production.
Okay.
So this is fabric that we printed on as well. And you can see that it's used for,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
this is part of our safari collection. This is also printed in-house.
Great. Okay. Feels very smooth.
So like I said, we started off with 1, 2, 3. Now
So
we
it
have
was 1,
4,
2, 3.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 11 on the other side.
Wow. How many
Exciting.
persons are working here? Because
So in
with
the-
all these
yeah.
number of go downs, this is quite a number.
I know.
Yeah.
So in the Vivo has about 370, but about 100 of those are in our stores.
Wow.
And then
Okay.
Shopzetu has about 70.
Wow.
So altogether,
170,
I'd say
yes.
we're close to 450 people across the group, and we're growing because we're about to open some more stores.
Yeah.
So
That's
think
that's
by the
that's
end of
about
next
that's
year,
about that's a
I
lot.
predict.
Yes. What do you
By the
predict?
end of next year, we'll be close to 1,000. I think.
That's
because
creating
we're
employment.
looking to scale
Sure.
significantly,
Yeah.
and not just in Kenya. So we'll be setting up production facilities outside of Kenya as well.
Wow. Lovely. Lovely. Great. A lot of the workforce comes from around because I can see you are. Was this very strategic setting up here? Because I can see it's very
So
close to the.
there's a very large EPZ factory down the road, so it has created an ecosystem of people in the industry.
Okay.
So it's quite easy to employ.
Okay.
So whenever we hire for an entry-level position, we'll have 100 people lining up the next day, you know, to apply.
Ready to come
so
up, yeah.
there's no shortage of Kenyans willing to work.
So you mentioned the word entry level. That means there's a training that you have to do to these particular persons when they come in?
Well, we typically would expect that you've had some experience
Yeah.
behind the machine,
Yeah.
but we'll have to train you to use our fabrics. Because we're doing fashion as opposed to basics. A lot of the bigger factories are doing t-shirts,
Yeah.
you know, boxer shorts, things like that.
Yeah.
Whereas you've seen our fabrics are very slippery and soft, and we're constantly changing design. We don't make mass of the same design. We might make a couple of hundred pieces.
Okay.
And so you've got to be able to adapt to a different design every day.
Okay.
You know, when we see the production floor, you'll see that at any day we might be doing 10 different designs on the floor.
Yeah.
Whereas most big factories are doing the same design for 5 months. One design.
Okay.
They're just mass volume.
All right.
So it's quite a different business model.
Okay. So Wandia, such a great tour. Thank you so much for that. And one of the key questions I wanted to ask you is, what inspired this? How did you learn and say, I want to do what I'm doing now?
You know, it's funny when someone asks me that, because I think the inspiration has changed and evolved over time. So initially, way back 12 years ago, all I wanted was to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And Vivo initially was a brand that was focused on dance and fitness. I don't know if you know that. That was the origin. So, you know, my friend Anne-Marie Burugo and I, who were co-founders of the business, we were both doing a lot of exercise classes, and we were struggling to find products that we could afford that suited, you know, dance sneakers, Pilates, you know, accessories and things like that. But when we started the business, which we thought initially would be online only, only activewear dance, we realized people wanted to touch and feel. So we needed a shop. And then once we had a shop, we realized we're going to have to pay rent. Okay. And we're going to have to hire people. We can't just do this from our living room. And so we decided we would provide regular clothing alongside this more specialized products. And that is what people responded to. Everyone loved the clothing. And so then we realized there was a gap. There was a gap in the clothing space for new clothing that people could, you know, see online or, you know, walk into a store and see that suited them, that fitted their body shapes and sizes, that they resonated with from a style, color, print perspective. And so that's the problem that we now are out to solve. But I think what inspires me more than anything is the opportunities in the industry. You know, we're a continent of 1.34 billion people, growing faster than anywhere else in the world.
Absolutely.
We don't dress ourselves. We wear other people's clothes.
It's very sad.
And yet, clothing can hire people. Production of clothes is not done by machines alone. It's people stitching. Who designs them? People. Who models them? People. Who does the marketing? People. So when you look at the clothing, the textile industry, there are massive opportunities to create employment, to create economic wealth.
Absolutely.
And even if we continue to wear these global brands that we admire, the Nikes of this world and whatever, where are our brands? You know, and so I think what inspires me is the greenfieldness of it, you know. Our vision is very clear. We want to see Africa dress herself and dress the world. Like, we can dress other people.
Lovely.
You know, but can we at least also dress ourselves?
Absolutely.
Can we walk down the streets of Kinshasa, of Nairobi, of Lagos, and half of what you see should be African brands? That's what you see in other countries.
And speaking about actually scaling and growth, any person who is an interested investor maybe also, and I'm saying this because now that you're in the Booker program, we're looking at making you the powerhouse that shall represent us globally. One of the key questions will be, what are their plans?
Amen to that, by the way.
Amen to that, right? Absolutely. Yeah, what are their plans of scaling and growth and the likes? Would you care to just say a few things on that?
Our plans to scale are big.
Yeah.
We're currently at 24 stores. I see us getting to at least 100 in the next 5 years. Across the continent, so not just in East Africa, but in other parts of Africa as well.
It's like 5 times the number.
5 times. 4 to 5 times, you know? And outside the continent too, you know, watch this space. I mean, when we're opening our new store in Atlanta or in, you know, London or Paris, like, why not, you know?
You're right.
The diaspora alone is a huge market. Women of color everywhere struggle the same challenges that African women struggle because they're wearing brands that did not have them in mind when they were producing, right? So I think we can resonate with a lot of people, around the world. And so our ambition is to scale that way, but also to scale in our supply chain and to really partner. So we're looking for partners who can supply fabrics, who can help collaborate on the design, on the manufacturing. We don't necessarily want to keep making everything in-house. Once we can, our order sizes can be a little bigger, we can give those orders to other factories as well. So we want to partner, and we want people who see the long-term opportunity. It's not just an outsourcing arrangement. Today and tomorrow, we don't care about you, we'll go somewhere else. We want to say, how do we all grow together?
Part of the conversations about any businesses now is sustainability. And a lot of corporates are aligning themselves to the ESG of today. And one of the things that I've seen around, you taking me around, I see how the community is coming as well here, not only working here, the others were supplying some of the nice snacks I've seen, varied of them. I see a lot of integration that I've seen around here. So my quick question is, first, what's your sustainability sort of agenda, and how are you empowering, especially women who have seen quite a number around, in the empowerment of women in your industry?
I think we try to build a sort of sustainability approach to everything we do. So first of all, by trying to be a really good employer, you know? What terms do we provide? What kind of culture are we creating? Are we an environment where people feel happy to come to, where they feel safe? Every single person employed is on comprehensive health insurance. We provide, like I said, meal benefits. We have extracurricular activities, Zumba, yoga, things like that. We encourage people to save, so we have arrangements with SACCOs that people, will facilitate those payments. And we celebrate each other. We look at every month. There's always a couple of people who are celebrated as employees of the month based on our values. Our values are very clear, and they're not just, they're posters on the wall to remind people, but we try to live them. We try to say our people first.
People first.
That is our first value.
Absolutely.
And yes, we are here to delight our customers. That's our second value. And we do that by, trying to make sure we offer the best products and the best service that we can. But we also have a value around challenging the status quo. Because what we say is, it doesn't matter which level of the organization you came in at, how young you are, or whatever. There's always an opportunity to improve. So if you're sitting on a machine and realizing, the way we're doing this, we could do it better, we could be more productive, say so. Ask, why are we doing it this way? I don't want this hierarchical, like, the boss said that we're just going to do it because, why are you doing it that way? Well, I was told. Do you believe it's the best way? No, but I was told. No. If you think there's a better way, say so. And then own your results. Because at the end of the day, it's do you deliver? Do you implement? And then in terms of the product, because fashion has, often is rightly accused of being a huge contributor to like global warming because of a number of things. One is in the production cycle. Depending on the way that you print your fabric, you might use a lot of water. We use digital printing, we don't have that. Secondly, it's in the waste. So when you see, the waste in terms of like, even what comes as secondhand, containers flying in every single day. A lot of that is waste. Waste material, waste clothing that comes, and what happens is it will end up in landfills, and it's often, a lot of it is made out of fibers that can't be recycled. And so they just are giving off carbon emissions and all of that. So we try to minimize waste. So that's why we produce in small batches, so that we can monitor demand. We don't assume we know everything the customer is going to want. So we say, let's try it, see if you like it, and it's doing well, then we can do more of the same or similar. So we don't end up, when you see a lot of brands that are discounting half of what they offer, it's because they didn't manage to sell it.
They didn't. You're right.
They overproduced, right? So we try not to overproduce. And then we try to make sure that any waste we have gets used or discarded of responsibly. So we work with NEMA approved disposal managers. The paper, for example, that we use for printing gets recycled. So we try to see, can most of what we use go to something else?
Yeah.
Can it be used to be, to generate another product?
Yeah.
And we still have some ways to go. I would love, for example, to use solar power, so that we're not using generators or anything like that.
Right, yeah.
I would love to use more natural fibers in the product itself.
Okay.
So we're constantly looking at it and
how to.
Yeah, and as we
anyway,
get bigger, it becomes more of an issue, because the little you waste when you're small, we waste more when you're big.
And anyway, as they say in the corporate world, ESG is still a journey. How to constantly improve yourself on that. My final question for you is, you are one of the greatest guys that we have now at Ibuka, and guys will be like, so even running the business, is it going to mess me up? Is it going to be a headache?
To be part of Ibuka?
Tell them, absolutely, yes.
Well, it's still very early days.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that the NSC wants to overburden you.
You're right.
They're there to support you.
Yeah.
But obviously, as we get more involved, we may need to strengthen our own capacity to really fully take advantage of all the opportunities.
Yeah.
So, if, for example, reporting becomes an expectation that you have to report more frequently, the level of detail has to be more, then we might need to expand the team that pulls all these reports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think, like anything in life, you have to make your choices. There's cost benefit. Nothing comes for free. If you're going to scale and you want to engage at that sort of level, you've got to be prepared to put in the time, put in the resources, look at what you have to give and take in order to engage. But I'm confident that it will be worthwhile. Yeah.
It's been a pleasure having you on.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much.